I never told my daughter about my multi-million-dollar net worth, even though she always saw me living a simple life in our modest San Francisco apartment. One day, she invited me to a family barbecue with her fiancé's parents who were visiting from New York. I decided to see how they would treat a struggling blue-collar worker by pretending to be just that, a broke and unassuming father scraping by. But the moment I fired up the grill in our tiny backyard, everything shifted. What happened that afternoon devastated my future in-laws in a way they never saw coming. And trust me, they had it coming. Let me explain how it all unfolded. Let me tell you who I really am. Because my daughter, Elena, at 28 years old, never knew the full truth about her father. To her, I was always just the guy who left early for the warehouse, who came home smelling of sweat and motor oil, who fixed things around the house with duct tape and elbow grease. Just another working stiff, maybe a forklift operator or a mechanic. Someone ordinary, nothing flashy. And I never set her straight. I never mentioned that I founded and ran a tech startup in Silicon Valley that had grown into a powerhouse, pulling in 8 figures annually. Why bother? Wealth wasn't something I paraded around like a badge of honor. I grew up in a time when character was built from the inside out, where humility meant more than any stock option. So I kept my secrets close. I lived in the same 2-bedroom apartment we'd had since Elena was a kid. I drove a beat-up pickup truck until the tires went bald. I shopped at Costco for bulk deals, grilled burgers on sale, saved every penny, invested wisely, and built an empire in the shadows. Because real influence doesn't need spotlights. It watches, it waits. And I was watching carefully when Elena called me that Wednesday evening. Her voice had that bubbly excitement, but underneath, a hint of nerves, like when she was little and worried about a school play. "Dad, I have big news. Alex proposed. We're engaged." I could hear the smile in her words, and my heart swelled. Alex was a good guy, smart, kind, worked in finance on Wall Street. They'd met during her business trip to New York 2 years ago, and I'd liked him from the start. "That's wonderful, kiddo," I said, grinning at the phone. "I'm so happy for you." But then she dropped the next part. "His parents are flying in from New York this weekend. They're dying to meet you. We're thinking a casual family barbecue at our place, your place, I mean. You know, keep it low-key, burgers, beer, that sort of thing." Our place, the apartment. I paused, stirring the pot of chili I'd thrown together for dinner. Something in her tone caught me, a subtle hesitation, like she was bracing for something. "Do they know much about me?" I asked, keeping it light. There was a beat of silence. "Well, I told them you're a hardworking guy, that you raised me on your own after Mom passed, that we don't have a ton, but we're close. You know, the basics." The basics, as if my life could be summed up in a pity pitch. "The simple folks," she added quickly. There it was, that word, simple, like a label slapped on a discount bin, as if I were something to explain away, a quirky footnote in her polished life. I took a slow breath. "Okay, Elena, I'll be ready. Looking forward to it." I hung up and glanced around the apartment. Faded curtains from the 90s, a couch with a throw blanket hiding the worn spots, a TV that still used a remote with half the buttons stuck. Nothing screamed success. And right then, I made up my mind. If Elena thought I was just a blue-collar dad scraping by, if Alex's parents were coming in with their East Coast polish ready to size me up, I'd give them exactly that. I'd play the part of the struggling widower, naive and hardworking, barely keeping the lights on. I wanted to test the waters, to see how they'd treat someone without the silver spoon. My gut told me they were the type who equated worth with wallets, and my instincts, they rarely missed. Saturday rolled around, sunny and crisp, the kind of Bay Area day that makes you forget the fog. I dressed the part, faded jeans with a hole at the knee, an old flannel shirt rolled up at the sleeves, scuffed work boots I'd actually worn back in my early days hustling odd jobs. No watch, no wallet chain, just a simple leather belt. I pulled my graying hair back under a baseball cap, looked in the mirror, and saw a man life had roughed up a bit. Forgettable, unthreatening, perfect. I set up the backyard, our tiny patch of grass with a rusty grill I'd bought secondhand years ago. Plastic chairs around a folding table, paper plates, generic soda from the dollar store. I marinated cheap ground beef for burgers, sliced onions and tomatoes from the farmer's market, and even dug out some mismatched lawn games like cornhole with beanbags I'd sewn myself. As the time approached, I felt that mix of buzz and melancholy. Buzz because I knew this could be revealing, melancholy because part of me hoped I'd be wrong, that they'd see past the surface, treat me with basic decency. The doorbell buzzed at noon. I wiped my hands on a dish towel and opened up. There was Elena, beaming in a sundress, her dark hair in loose waves. Beside her was Alex, tall and clean-cut in khakis and a polo, looking every bit the finance bro. And then them, Alex's parents, Reginald and Constance Harrington. Reggie was in pressed slacks and a button-down, a gold watch glinting on his wrist, salt and pepper hair perfectly coiffed. Constance wore a designer blouse and capris, pearls around her neck, her blonde bob impeccable. They looked like they'd stepped off a yacht club brochure. "Elena, darling," Constance air-kissed my daughter. "This is quaint." Reggie shook my hand, firm but quick, like he was appraising livestock. "You must be the father, Tom, right? Pleasure." "Tom Reynolds," I said with a nod, keeping my voice gruff but friendly. "Come on in, make yourselves at home." They filed into the apartment, eyes darting around. I caught Constance's nose wrinkle slightly at the sight of the linoleum kitchen floor. Elena shot me a quick smile, but I saw the flicker of worry. "Dad's firing up the grill," she said brightly. "Best burgers in the city." We headed to the backyard. I lit the charcoal, old school, no gas for me, and started patting out patties. Alex helped set the table, chatting about the Giants' latest game. Reggie settled into a chair with a beer I'd handed him, cracking it open. "So, Tom, Elena tells us you're in logistics, warehouse work?" I flipped a burger, smoke curling up. "Yeah, something like that. Forklift operator down at the docks. Been there 20 years. Pays the bills, mostly." I chuckled, self-deprecatingly, watching their reactions. Constance sipped her soda delicately. "How admirable. Raising a daughter alone in this economy. It must be challenging." Her tone was syrupy, but her eyes scanned the yard, the chain-link fence, the neighbor's laundry flapping next door. "Oh, we managed," I said modestly. "Elena's the smart one. Got herself through college on scholarships. Proud of her." Reggie nodded. "Scholarships, eh? Smart girl. Our Alex here went to Yale. Full ride from us, of course. Family tradition." He laughed heartily. Constance chimed in, "And our summer home in the Hamptons was where he learned to sail. Essential skills, you know." I nodded along, poking at the coals. "Sounds fancy. We stuck to Golden Gate Park picnics, free and fun." The conversation flowed, or rather trickled. They asked about my job, and I spun tales of long shifts, union dues, the occasional back strain. Elena jumped in, praising my handyman skills, but I saw the shifts. Reggie's subtle smirk when I mentioned fixing the truck myself, Constance's pitying glance at my boots. As burgers sizzled, they steered talk to their world. Private jets for business trips, charity galas in Manhattan, investments in promising tech ventures. "You ever invest, Tom?" Reggie asked, biting into his burger. Juice dripped, but he dabbed it with a napkin like it was caviar. "Me? Nah. 401k if I'm lucky. Tech's too risky for a guy like me." I grinned, but inside I was noting every condescension. Constance leaned forward. "Oh, but it's the future. We put a chunk into this startup, Quantum Leap AI, revolutionary stuff. Reggie here's on the board of advisors." I nearly choked on my soda. Quantum Leap was my company. I'd founded it a decade ago, bootstrapped it from my garage into a leader in AI-driven logistics. They'd invested last round, through a VC firm, never meeting me face to face. I kept my face neutral. "Sounds impressive. Hope it pays off." The afternoon wore on. We played cornhole, me missing shots on purpose, them laughing politely. Elena and Alex snuck glances, holding hands. But the jabs crept in. Constance, after another beer, "Tom, this apartment, it's cozy. Have you thought about downsizing or perhaps assistance programs for seniors?" "I'm only 55, I said lightly. Still got fight in me. Reggie clapped my shoulder. "Good man. But seriously, if things get tight, we could help. Family, right? Maybe a little loan for upgrades." Elena's cheeks flushed. "Dad doesn't need—" "It's fine, honey," I interrupted, smiling. But the rage simmered, cold, calculated. They saw me as a charity case, a drag on their polished image. As sun dipped, tension built. They boasted more, European vacations, art collections. I nodded, played dumb. "Wow, must cost a fortune." "Quality over quantity," Constance said, eyeing my grill. "One can't skimp on the good things." Then came the hammer. Reggie, casual as ever. "Tom, with the wedding coming, we want to contribute, but honestly, we worry about stability. Elena's stepping into our world. No offense, but perhaps some financial planning? We could set you up with our advisor." Elena's eyes widened. Alex shifted uncomfortably. I set down my beer, voice steady. "Interesting offer, Reggie. Generous." Constance smiled victoriously. "We're just looking out for everyone." I leaned back. Time to drop the act. But first, let them dig deeper. The conversation turned to the wedding plans. Elena excitedly described her vision, a simple ceremony in a park, maybe a reception at a local hall. "Nothing too extravagant," she said. "We want it to feel real, you know?" Constance's eyebrows arched. "Darling, real is fine, but think of the photos. Our friends expect a certain standard. The plaza in New York, perhaps? We could cover it." Alex cleared his throat. "Mom, we're thinking smaller. Elena's roots are here." "Roots," Reggie echoed, glancing at the yard. "Admirable. But Tom, surely you'd want the best for her. If money's an issue—" "It's not," I said quietly, but they barreled on. Constance sighed dramatically. "Oh, Tom, you're so stoic. Truly inspiring how you've made do. But let's be frank. As family, we believe in elevating each other. Alex and Elena deserve a strong foundation, without burdens." Burdens. There it was. Me, the blue-collar dad, a liability in their eyes. Elena stood. "Stop! Dad's not a burden." I held up a hand. "It's okay, kiddo. Let them speak." Reggie nodded. "No harm meant, just practical. We could help with retirement funds, maybe a nicer place. In exchange, give the kids space to thrive." A bribe to fade into the background. My voice changed, firmer, sharper. "Questions, if I may." Constance blinked. "Of course." "How much for this help?" Reggie hesitated. "Say $1,000 a month, modest but steady." I nodded. "To disappear from my daughter's life." "Not disappear," Constance protested. "Just respect boundaries." The air thickened. Elena looked horrified. Alex stared at his shoes. I wiped my hands, stood. "You've been kind tonight." But inside, the reveal brewed. I nodded slowly, letting the silence stretch just long enough to make them uncomfortable. The backyard had grown quieter. Even the neighbor's dog had stopped barking. The sun was low now, casting long shadows across the patchy grass. Elena's face was flushed, her hands clenched at her sides. Alex looked like he wanted the ground to swallow him whole. $1,000 a month, I repeated, my voice calm but carrying an edge they hadn't heard from me yet. "That's what you think it would take to keep me quiet, out of the way, a non-issue in your perfect family portrait?" Reginald shifted in his plastic chair, the legs scraping against the concrete patio. "Tom, you're twisting our words. We're offering support, pure generosity." Constance placed a manicured hand on her husband's arm, her smile tight. Exactly. We only want what's best for the children. You've done an admirable job raising Elena on limited means, but now she's entering a different world. We're simply trying to smooth the transition. I let out a soft laugh, not unkind, but enough to make them both stiffen. A different world, I echoed. Tell me more about this world of yours, the one where people are measured by how much they can spend on a weekend in the Hamptons. Reginald cleared his throat. It's not about measurement, it's about opportunity, access, networks, things that open doors. And you think I've never opened a door in my life? I asked, flipping the last burger even though it was already done. The sizzle filled the pause. You think because I live in this apartment, drive a 15-year-old truck, and grill store-brand meat, I don't understand opportunity? Constance's lips pressed into a thin line. We're not saying that at all, but let's be realistic, Tom. Elena's told us about your job, the long hours, the physical labor. It's honorable work, truly, but it's also limiting. Elena finally exploded. Mom, Constance, stop, just stop. Dad's not limiting anything. He's the reason I am who I am. I put a gentle hand on her shoulder. It's okay, kiddo. Let them finish. I want to hear the full offer. Reginald leaned forward, elbows on his knees, adopting the tone of a man closing a business deal. Look, Tom, we're prepared to be very generous. $1,000 a month deposited directly. In return, we'd ask that you keep a low profile at family events, no need to mention financial struggles in front of our friends, and perhaps defer to us on major decisions, wedding venue, honeymoon, that sort of thing. We have experience in these matters. I stared at him for a long moment. The charcoal crackled. A breeze carried the scent of grilled onions through the air. Then I spoke, quieter than before. You mentioned Quantum Leap AI earlier, said you'd invested. Reginald brightened, sensing common ground. Yes, promising company, cutting-edge logistics optimization. We put in through our family office, high growth potential. Constance beamed. Reggie's always had an eye for winners. I nodded, reaching into the cooler for another soda. I cracked it open slowly. Funny thing about Quantum Leap, I know the founder pretty well. Reginald chuckled. Small world, Silicon Valley's like that. Who knows, maybe one day we'll all be at the same investor dinner. Maybe sooner than you think, I said. Elena frowned, sensing the shift. Alex looked up, confused. I set the soda down and wiped my hands on the old dish towel tucked into my belt. Then I looked Reginald straight in the eye. I am the founder. The words hung in the air like smoke. Constance blinked. Excuse me? Quantum Leap AI, I said clearly. Incorporated it 12 years ago in my garage. Bootstrapped the first 3 rounds myself. Still own 58%. Last valuation was $2.4 billion. My net worth, conservatively, sits north of 1.3. Reginald's face drained of color. Constance's mouth actually fell open. Elena whispered, Dad? I turned to her, my expression softening. I never told you because I didn't want you growing up entitled. I wanted you to earn your own way, like I did. Scholarships, internships, late nights studying, you did it all yourself. I was always proud, but I stayed quiet so the money wouldn't change you. Alex found his voice. Mr. Reynolds? Tom? You're that Tom Reynolds? The one who turned down Sequoia's term sheet in 2018 because you didn't like their control provisions? I gave a small smile. Guilty. Reginald recovered first, forcing a laugh that sounded strangled. Well, this is quite the surprise. Why the charade then? All this, He gestured at the yard, the grill, my clothes. When you could live anywhere. Because I wanted to see who you really are, I said, voice steady. Not the polished version you show at galas, the version that meets a man you think is beneath you. And I saw it. Every pitying glance, every backhanded compliment, every calculation about how much it would cost to make me disappear. Constance's cheeks flamed red. We were trying to help. You were trying to buy me off, I corrected gently. You offered me $1,000 a month to stay out of your photographs. Do you have any idea how insulting that is? Reginald stood abruptly, chair scraping. Now wait just a minute. You deceived us. You came here in costume, pretending to be something you're not. That's dishonest. I nodded. It is, and I'll own that. But my deception lasted one afternoon. Yours, the judgment, the superiority, that's who you are when you think no one's watching. That's the truth I needed to confirm. Elena had tears in her eyes. Dad, why didn't you trust me enough to tell me? I stepped toward her, cupping her face. I did trust you. I trusted you to become the woman you are, kind, driven, grounded. Money can twist people, Elena. I've watched it happen to friends, to partners, to kids who grew up with trust funds. I didn't want that for you. And honestly, you never needed to know. You were happy. We were close. That was enough.
Alex spoke softly. Sir, I had no idea. I liked you from the start. The real you, I mean, not... He glanced at his parents. Whatever this is. I gave him a nod. I believe you, son. You've always treated Elena right. That's what matters. Constance tried again, voice trembling. This changes everything. We can start over, properly this time. Perhaps dinner at our club when we're next in town? No, I said firmly. We won't be starting over, because now I know exactly who I'm dealing with, and I won't pretend otherwise. Reginald's face hardened. You're willing to let this affect Elena and Alex's future over one misunderstanding? It's not a misunderstanding, it's a revelation. You showed me your values. I'm simply respecting them by keeping my distance. Elena wiped her eyes. Dad, please don't make this worse. They're still Alex's parents. I looked at her for a long moment. And you're my daughter. I'll never stand in the way of your happiness, but I won't let anyone treat me or you like we're lesser because of where we started. If Alex wants to build a life with you, he'll do it knowing we come as we are. No apologies. Constance stood now too, clutching her designer bag like a shield. This is absurd. We flew across the country to meet family, and you staged some elaborate test? I didn't stage anything. You wrote the script. I just provided the stage. The tension was thick enough to cut. No one moved. The grill popped as fat dripped into the coals. Finally, I reached into my back pocket and pulled out my wallet, old, cracked leather. I opened it and slid out a card. Not a credit card, a business card. Matte black, simple silver lettering. Tom Reynolds, founder and CEO, Quantum Leap AI. I placed it on the folding table between us. That's me, I said, the real me. Not the forklift driver, not the charity case. Just a man who built something from nothing and chose to live quietly. Reginald stared at the card like it might bite him. Constance wouldn't even look at it. Elena reached for it, fingers shaking. Dad, I don't even know what to say. You don't have to say anything right now, I told her. Just think about what kind of family you want to build. One where people are valued for who they are, or one where they're ranked by their zip code. Alex stepped forward, putting an arm around Elena. Mr. Reynolds, Tom, I'm sorry for all of this. I didn't know my parents would. I should have shut it down sooner. I gave him a small, tired smile. You're young. You'll learn where to draw lines. That's part of growing up, too. Reginald finally picked up the card, turning it over as if checking for a trick. So what now? You expose us, humiliate us, and walk away smug? No smugness, I said, just clarity.
I needed to know if my daughter was marrying into a family that would love her unconditionally or one that would love her portfolio. Constance let out a sharp, bitter laugh. And you think you're better because you hid your money? That's hypocritical. Maybe, I admitted, but I hid it to protect my daughter from exactly this kind of judgment. You flashed yours to assert dominance. There's a difference. The sun had dipped below the fence now. The yard was cooling. I started stacking plates, signaling the afternoon was over. Reginald looked at his watch, a Rolex that probably cost more than most people's cars. We should go. Our flight tomorrow is early. Constance nodded stiffly. Yes, we'll discuss this later. Elena hugged me hard before they left. I love you, Dad. We'll talk soon, okay? Always, I whispered into her hair. Alex shook my hand, firm, respectful. Sir, I hope we can earn your trust. Treat her right. That's all I ask. The Harringtons didn't hug me goodbye. They offered tight smiles and murmured pleasantries as they walked through the apartment to the front door. I watched them climb into their rented black Escalade, taillights disappearing down the street. I stood in the doorway a long time after they were gone, the evening fog rolling in from the bay. When I finally went back to the yard to clean up, I found Elena had stayed behind. She was sitting on one of the plastic chairs, staring at the dying coals. I sent Alex with them, she said quietly. I needed to talk to you alone. I sat beside her. I'm listening. She took a shaky breath. I'm sorry I let them talk about you like that. I should have said something sooner. You were caught in the middle, I said. I get it. No, she insisted. I was embarrassed, not of you, of how shallow they sounded. And part of me was scared that if I defended you too hard, it would cause problems with Alex. I hate that I felt that way. I put an arm around her shoulders. You're human, kiddo. Loyalty gets complicated when love's involved. She leaned into me. Why didn't you ever tell me? Because I watched what money did to other kids, I said. Trust fund friends who never had to struggle, who thought the world owed them. I wanted you to know the value of hard work, to know you could stand on your own. And you have. You're brilliant, compassionate, fierce. None of that came from a bank account. She was quiet for a while. Then, do you think Alex knew? About you, I mean. No, I said. He looked as shocked as you. Good, she whispered, because if he'd been playing a part too. He wasn't, I assured her. I've met enough liars in boardrooms to spot one. He's solid. We sat in silence as night settled. Crickets started up. Somewhere down the block, someone was playing old Motown from an open window. Finally, Elena spoke again. What happens now? That's up to you and Alex, I said. I won't interfere, but I won't pretend to respect people who don't respect me or you just because they have money. She nodded slowly. I don't want to lose you. You won't, I promised, ever. But I also won't let anyone buy my silence or my absence, not for $1,000 a month, not for $1 million. She gave a watery laugh. God, they're going to be mortified when they realize how much you're actually worth. They already are, I said, and that's their problem, not ours. We cleaned up together, stacking chairs, wrapping leftovers, dumping coals. Simple tasks, familiar rhythm. When everything was done, she hugged me at the door. I love you, Dad. Rich or poor, forklift driver or billionaire, you're the best man I know. I love you too, kiddo. Always have, always will. She left, and the apartment felt quieter than usual. I made a cup of tea, sat on the old couch, and stared at the wall where I'd hung her graduation photo years ago. My phone buzzed, a text from an unknown New York number. This is Constance Harrington. We'd like to apologize and speak when emotions have settled, perhaps over dinner next month." I stared at the message a long time. Then I typed back, "Thank you for the offer. I'll be here if Elena and Alex want family time, but dinner won't be necessary." I hit send, set the phone face down, and drank my tea in the quiet. Outside, the fog thickened, swallowing the city lights. Inside, everything felt clearer than it had in years.